Talking about the previous law, which consists of only 9 sections, stated an important change to this law. As I told before, all those property that has been held in the name of spouse or children will not be covered under the ambit of the Benami property. Way back in 1988, it was stated as explicitly stated as all those property that has been in the name of wife and unmarried daughter alone will qualify under the act. You will understand why I'm repeating this when we're going to see the case study. Every law has been amending itself. This law has also amended to establish regulating authorities, starting from the initiating officer to the approving authority, adjudicating authority, administrator, and the appealating tribunal. Starting off with the initiating officer, he is in the rank of the assistant commissioner. He is the person who will go in for qualifying all those property that will be subject to the Benami Transactions Act. And after that, it will move to the approving authority who will pass an order and issue a showcase notice to those binamidas and as well as the beneficiaries. Adjudicating authority is a person who is only confined with the confiscation of all those property that qualifies to be a binami. And the administrator, if in case any type of proceedings as a result of this crime, like in the form of gold, can it be cash and all of that, it should be deposited in the national treasury of the central government. So that is what his work is. And appealating tribunal has the powers of the civil court. The case study here we are going to be seeing in this context is related to the exceptions that as I've stated before. What has happened in this case is that Bindesh Paul Jain is the father of Niharika. He has purchased a property in the name of Niharika and registered it in her name while she was married to Andesh Jain. So the initiating officer has actually qualified this case to be a Benami transaction. After the investigation of the case, taking into context the two different types of comparisons that I've shown, the act that was passed in 1988, the original act, has said that property that is in the name of wife and unmarried daughter alone qualifies under that act. And now amended act has extended the ambit of it and stating that spouse, children, sister, brother, ascendant, descendant. So now the court has to take a stand whether it is going to act retrospectively or prospectively. The verdict was being passed that an act is not supposed to be retrospective in its effect unless it is specifically stated. So as a result of which, all those provisions that were taken into account during the amended act is being proceeded further, and this was not qualified as a Benami property. Okay. Do you guys remember what was yesterday? Yesterday was something that is commemorated and celebrated by internationally. Okay, we're running short of time. Let me tell you. It was the Anti-Corruption Day. Do you think India is actually relieved from the anti-corruption and various types of criminal conspiracy and bribery at present? We are always taking initiatives on a reason present, and this act is one of the most significant acts that has amended itself at regular intervals in order to keep in par with the various types of changes that is taking in the civilized society today. As I told, every type of law will definitely have a substance of its own, and this substance here is the money laundering. It's a very simple term, just to connote it, it is already there in your memory. Hawala. Hawala is the only thing that we confine to money laundering, but it's got a wider ambit than that. Money laundering is nothing but bringing unaccountable money into the system as in the form of legitimate money, in the form of wide circulation. And how it's been done is that we'll see in the stages. So first, it starts with placement. The unaccountable money is brought into the financial system, and it's been layered through deposits to foreign banks and various other intermediaries and also hawalas. And then comes the integration, bringing this unaccountable money after layering into the financial system as in the form of legitimate money. Okay, the PMLA Act is one of the most significant acts. As I told, it's been amended since 2002, 2007, and now in 2011. The most significant amendment of this act is that reporting entities is a new amendment that is brought about in this act. Reporting entities include banks, financial institutions, insurance companies, and your intermediaries. Whatever channelization through of funds that you do, all of these people are involved. Why they brought about this amendment is that in order to increase the transparency in the financial system. So what are the obligations of these reporting entities? We'll see it. obligations of the reporting entities. Every type of a reporting entity, as I stated in the previous slide, has to report the appointment of the principal officer, maintain official records, and all those intermediaries, such as your brokers who are involved in the transactions, should definitely state what are the single or multiple transactions that they're taking place. Any type of transaction that is exceeding the limit of 10 lakh rupees has to be accounted for. Okay, as we saw in the Benami Transaction Act also had regulating authorities. The PMLA Act also has regulating authorities, which starts with the Enforcement Directorate, which is regulated by the Finance Intelligence Unit of the CBI wing. So this Enforcement Directorate plays a very similar role to the initiating officer in the Benami Act, as I stated. And the next one is the adjudicating authority and the appealating tribunal. Penalty. So, looking back at the act which was passed in 2002, the penalty was 5 lakh rupees, the ceiling of the penalty. And now it has been, in order to increase the severity of this act, all the proceeds of the crime will qualify to be a penalty under the present amended act. And imprisonment of 7 to 10 years will also be imposed. And after that, all those property that is subject to the money laundering case will be seized and under the central government. So these are the recent amendments that has been brought about by the act amendment that is done in 2011. PMLA Act, all those transactions or all those crimes that has been related to PMLA will be treated as a standalone crime. No anticipatory bail, or it is a non-bailable offense, is that the context of which the penalty or the imprisonment, everything is being focused on this. As I told before, the PMLA Act is a non-bailable offense and anticipatory bail will also not be available. The next one is that this particular amended act has actually widened the ambit of the proceeds of the law itself. If you take, before there were different types of laws to regulate the different types of illegal activities like drug trafficking act and all of that, but now it has been amended and brought under one ambit, that is the Prohibition of Money Laundering Act of 2002. The last but not the least, the government has also taken initiatives to bring about interministerial coordination committees, which is very much similar to your special courts at regional levels. Okay, this particular case study is one of the most interesting case studies. Rolls-Royce versus the Enforcement Directorate, which comes under the Finance Intelligence Unit of the CBI. So what has happened in this case is that Rolls-Royce is subject to the money laundering case of 2002. The substance of this case, after investigation, it was in a two-lined words, I can say that Rolls-Royce is a London-based engine-making company which specializes itself in Elon and Avison engine spare parts, which has been supplied to our public sector units like Hall, Hindustan Aeronauticals Limited and ONGC. So what has happened in this case is that it was found by the CBI investigation that Rolls-Royce has appointed a commercial advisor called as Ashok Patani and his company to actually bring about or obtain contracts of these public sector units for the purpose of supply of these spare parts and paying exorbitant amount of commission to these people. So after the investigations of the CBI, it was found that Rolls-Royce and his Indian subsidiary, Ashok Patani and his company, Turbotech International Private Limited, and unofficials of those public sector units also have been instrumental in taking up this money laundering. To the substance of this law, actually this case study talks about that Hall has actually raised a purchase order on Rolls-Royce, and the condition that was stated there is that Rolls-Royce is not supposed to appoint any type of commercial advisor, and if appointed, no type of commission should be paid to the person. And it was found that Rolls-Royce has actually violated the integrity pact of the purchase order, and it has paid a commission which is ranging from 10 to 11.3% and an average of 18.46 crores for just a matter of 100 orders during 2007 to 2011. So this is one of the instances where money laundering has happened even in one of the renowned branded companies itself. To conclude, I would like to say that as Indians, as citizens of India, it is important for us to keep ourselves amended, keep ourselves updated with the various types of legislations that is coming in play. It is just not because you're an Indian, because of which you have to know it. Just as a person of ordinary prudence, legislations will empower you to know know your rights, to know your interests, and also to contribute significantly to the development of an economy. The problem with Indian society today, why is criminal conspiracy and bribery actually increasing at a greater pace, is that criminals know their rights better than their wrongs. And why not we, knowing the legislation and amendments that is brought about in our constitution? I would like to conclude by quoting an important quote by Mahatma Gandhi. There's a highest court than the court of justice. It is the court of conscience, which supersedes it all. The time is always right to do what is right. Knowledge that has been divorced from integrity will never serve the purpose of its intention. Thank you all.
Thank you, Subhashni. I request the session chairman to give your views.
To me, one of the significant feature of Subhashi's presentation was this. She hardly looked at her presentation behind her. She was not looking at the presentation in front, and she was in full flow. That is the way to go. And when she ends her presentation with the talk about conscience, and today we heard Mr. Manoharan, CA Manoharan, speak about peaceful sleep. You see, these are words, conscience, ethics. These are words which are so important in the corridors of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So you see, I am extremely impressed that she ended her presentation with these words, conscience. And let me also tell you, when she was, those of us who do, I'll try to relate to you what you do in your day-to-day, life as an article assistant. Many of you go for this concurrent audits. And when you go for the concurrent audits, you might have to report, are there any transactions more than 10 lakh rupees in cash or whatever? You see, you have to report. It is this, money laundering act which you are complying with. She was saying that, you see, the reporting has to be done in the case of banks. So those of us who go for concurrent audit and look around for this 10 lakh figures is basically this money laundering act that you're talking about. She was giving two case studies, and both the case studies were, you see, to my mind, very interesting. But please note that those of us who are I'm sure all of us are students at the institute, we are going to lay more and more stress on the case studies. We are going to test you how much you can analyze, how easy it is to pick up the finer details in a case study. You see, the whole idea is this: to take you away from just memorizing and trying to see that you apply your knowledge to the best possible extent, so that as you go ahead, when you pass out and you step into the challenges of the real world, you really succeed. So once again, Subhashi, I'm extremely pleased with your presentation. May I request the next one? I think Adi